Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this month's meeting for the Terrace Lodge Redevelopment Fundraising Committee. Thank you for being here in the true fall day. Better to be in a meeting than roaming outside, I guess. So thank you for being here. Well, I'll call the meeting to order at 4:32, and we'll begin with the approval of the agenda. Anything that needs to be added or changed? To section 8.2, I will add, because I don't think I have it here. Oh, yes, it's under 8.2.8, the silent auction at Terrace Lodge with the resident council. Okay, it's already there. So I guess there are no changes to the agenda. I'm not seeing any suggestions. So may I have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as presented? Amaryllis moves. And Wendy seconds. All in favor? And that's carried. Next, we have disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. But I should do the adoption while you think about your pecuniary interests. Let's do the adoption of minutes. Thank you, Jenna. Minutes from our last meeting were attached to the agenda package. Any errors or omissions? Not seeing any, so may I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes? Jamie moves and Jim seconds. Thank you. All in favor? And that's carried. Now for disclosure of pecuniary interests. Still seeing none. We do not have any delegations today, I don't believe. So we'll move on to reports. And our main report today is from the Director of Financial Services, our financial update. Over to you, Jennifer. Thank you for being here.
Through you, Madam Chair, to the members of the committee. The last report that I presented was on October the 15th. And at that time, the total funds raised after expenses was $314,582. As of November 3rd, the amount of funds raised after expenses totals $323,358. The overall fundraising total has increased by $8,776 since the last report. The reason for this is that, as requested, the capital purchases that were made for Terrace Lodge fundraising campaign were removed in the amount of $6,143 and will be reported upon at a later date. An additional amount of $2,930 in donations were received, less $297 in additional expenses, which explains the remainder of the increase that amounts to a net of $2,633. At this time, 63% of the overall campaign total has been received to date. And that's my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. It's nice to see some movement since the last meeting, which was only about 3 weeks ago. Any comments or questions? Not seeing any. So thank you, Jennifer. And yes, we'll follow up on the reporting on the purchase of items as a separate report. But yes, I think this is very useful for the committee and members of the community following the campaign. So appreciate it. Thank you. So may I have a mover and seconder to receive the financial update? Jamie moves. Amaryllis seconds. All in favor? And that's carried. Have a nice evening, Jennifer. Thank you. Next is business arising. So a follow up on action items. Under 7.1, we do have decisions to make on a variety of strategies that we discussed, so we'll leave that for actually for the next section. So I'll move to 7.2, which is communication strategies, distribution of materials to committee members. So wanted to make sure, so at the last meeting, we agreed to go through a bit of the inventory of materials that we have, and then I looked at everything that we had left and made packages for each committee member. So just want to confirm that everybody got a package of goodies. So with bookmarks, fridge magnets, pamphlets, posters. So and I think that was it. And a list of the latest catalog of the items that we're fundraising for at the moment. So any questions on that? We're out of pamphlets, so that's the one thing that is totally gone. We still have some of the small posters. We have a few bookmarks left and a fair number of fridge magnets. So if you need any of those, I can happy to use our various couriers on the committee. And thank you to Wendy and even our staff, who I think played a role in distribution all the way to Dutton Dunwich. Any questions or comments, any wishes to reprint? So should we look into having the pamphlet reprinted? We could update it a little bit. It's kind of, the pamphlet, you may recall, we created in a fairly generic way. So there are not any dates or too many specifics other than the committee members at the back of the page. So we could reprint a few of those if you have found them useful. Open to your comments or ideas on that. Wendy?
Excuse me, I think that it's good to have the availability of pamphlets to hand out to people, especially when you're in the community explaining things. It just seems to be something they can take home.
Yeah, I agree. It's a nice sort of leave behind that has just a bit of information, and we could always update it a little bit if needed. Sarah?
When I was taking the chocolate counter displays around the businesses that I was going to, I left one with them, and then it kind of segues into, if they want to give more, at least they've got something tangible to, rather than just talking, because a lot of people, when you're talking, they forget stuff. So this is something on hand that they could refer back to.
So should we look at printing another batch? I think the last batch was about 100 is often the amount. Would that be a good starting point? Unless there's really a cost difference by printing more, but I seem to recall that 100 was a good start, fairly economical.
Yeah, I
Jim?
would suggest that, Madam Chair, that we go ahead and print some more. The issue I have with the fridge magnets, a lot of the fridges and other appliances now are stainless steel, and they don't adhere to that. So it was a good idea at one time, but the brochures would be a good idea. Thanks.
Okay, good. So we'll look into that. We'll put that on the action items. And everybody's okay with their names appearing on the committee members list at the back? No objections, Wendy?
Sorry, I have no objections, but if it costs additional money to change it, I wouldn't.
Okay, I'll make sure. Often updates, and the Elmer Express has been big supporters of the campaign, so I doubt if it's very minor changes, but good point. So I'll make sure if anything, I think it's probably easy at least to remove the list so it's not out of date for sure. Okay. 100 copies coming up. And I believe the work on the signage, I want to make a correction. The quote, the about $550 that I thought the quote that I received and I shared with the committee was actually per panel, and there were 3 panels. So, and so Jamie says that's almost as much as a new sign. So I did go back to double check that it was not. So it's still about less than 50% of the cost to refurbish it. And so we double checked with our CAO and our staff, and there is still funding available, not from the campaign, but from so it's not going to cost the campaign. We're not going, in other words, we're not going to use donations to refurbish the sign. But I think it's still a good idea, and the CAO was in support, as well as the redevelopment committee. So this, I was just there today. It's not done yet, so I don't know exactly when, what the date, what the plans are. I will find out. And if we might, if it works out, we might want to do a Christmas, maybe Christmas campaign launch and take a picture of the sign and sort of revitalize our new revitalized sign and revitalized campaign. So I'll find out what the date is, and then we'll see if we can find a date where as many committee members as possible are available, maybe coinciding with another meeting or something like that. So stay tuned for that. And I wanted to ask also regarding that list of items. I think a couple of committee members had mentioned that this was useful to have. So it's not, right now, it's not a pretty list necessarily to leave behind, but it is a list that shows exactly the items that are remaining. So I think I put a copy in everybody's package. And I think I may have emailed it also. So you have a PDF like that you can refer to. So any comments are on that? Does that meet your needs for now? Sort of quick reference guide. And I did just meet with Tanya. Thank you, Tanya, for your time. And we both agreed we're due for a review of the list again, because as things evolved and as recreation staff get to work in the new space, and the new space is really taking shape, then there are things that you discover that perhaps they thought they needed and maybe they don't need or need fewer of, or there might be other things that they didn't anticipate needing. And so there may be, I think we're ready. The last major update or refresh we did was probably about just over a year ago. So I think it's a good idea to bring it as up to date and being as realistic, because I want to make sure that all committee members feel very confident to say these are the items that are needed. This is what we need to purchase, and it's endorsed by the staff and by residents. So we'll make that happen fairly quickly, so that again, whichever items we decide to focus on for the Christmas push will be entirely up to date. And if that adjusts also our goal and the whole, finances of the campaign, then we should update that as well. Everybody should know that. And there was also the meeting with Canadian Tire. So we now have a list of items that are available. And we're in the process of correlating what is available from Canadian Tire, the Aylmer location, and compare that to the list of items that we need, comparing where there might be a really good opportunity for cost saving with their generous offer, so we also need to calculate what that means to our budget, and basically figure out what the equivalent of the donation is based on the amount that we've calculated to date. So that's all happening behind the scenes. So stay tuned on that as well. So that will update as soon as we have an updated list. We'll update that PDF and circulate it with committee members. But not to worry, it's not going to be that far off from what you have. So what you have, you can still use confidently. It's just going to be some tweaking. So any questions or comments or additional ideas related to communication strategies and materials? Okay, we don't need any motions for that section, so we can move on to fundraising strategies. Item 8, chocolate sales. I wasn't sure, I left it on the agenda. I wasn't sure if there were further updates to be provided at this point.
Just to let you know, I have another, I believe, $650 some, I believe, downstairs to bring over. So the end of the first part of the campaign and the start of the next campaign. I have one little store over here that is selling 40 chocolate bars every 2 weeks. So I'm having trouble keeping up with the area here. I've just bought our second box and half depleted it, the supplies there. I haven't made it into Aylmer yet. But I would say that the biggest thing are the corner stores from my experience here. The other one is 20 every 2 weeks. And then Ken's is probably close to the same, like they're wonderful supporting us, even with other people out there. There is one other Country Charm is out there, and I've been supporting it so they don't suffer from us, but theirs is separate from ours, totally different. So it's going well. I don't know how's it going for you, Sarah, and for Jamie. I think Jamie wanted more too. She's a real seller.
That's great, Sarah.
I delivered to 5 businesses in Belmont, and one said that the number that they have, they'll go through in no time. So if I had a supply on hand, then I could easily slip up to Belmont and deliver those.
Fantastic. I guess we keep going then, by the sounds of it, right? Jamie, did you
What
have-
business was that, Sarah?
Country Pizza.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the other one that would be maybe the Belmont Diner. They do a lot of business.
I thought about them as well, but I wasn't sure if it was too much of an overlap because Country Pizza doesn't sell chocolate, but the Belmont Diner does sell dessert. So I wasn't sure if that would be kind of a conflict.
Well, they're quite community based, so, but anyway. Yeah, it's, and if you're driving through Belmont on the weekend, it's a great place to go for a buffet.
So something to take home after you've had the dessert. For your post-dinner sweet. Wendy.
Just historically, Sarah, I would say that at least the diners in Port Burwell did really well in the summertime. So if you have a base of people that frequent it, that might be a good option. I can do another box for you if you like.
If you do 2 boxes, then I could take one to the New Sarum Diner as well.
Could I suggest we continue this till the end of December or till at least after Christmas? Because I think they're great stocking stuffers.
Yeah, I see a lot of nods around the room and on the screen. So yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Sarah?
I will check with the businesses I left it with because I had stated that it would be to the end of November. So I'll see what they feel.
Sure. Excellent. Well, thank you. Again, Wendy, thank you for getting us started on that venture. It's nice that it's so popular and it's keeping some good momentum and keeping the, awareness of the campaign out there. So excellent. Thank you for that update. We'll move on to 8.2, the various strategies that are being considered. First, we have the black tie event. Jamie, you were working on that one. Do you have an update for open session? Do you want to, I know we're looking at a specific partnership, so I can understand if that goes into closed session. Is that your preference? Okay, so that is the preference. So
There, yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll go to Santa Claus Parade. Tanya, any updates on that? Or is that still in the works?
Yeah, so I spoke with the recreation team and we have a few new volunteers, student volunteers. So we're thinking we're still going to participate in the Elmer Parade. The staff at the CQI meeting were also positive about that as well. So I'm just going to confirm when the team's in. We're all in tomorrow, so it'll be a good time to just solidify and decide that we have the rec team. I also have the students in tomorrow, so we just have to make sure that we have kind of a vehicle to kind of decorate. Now we do have one of the staff members here has has access to a horse-drawn carriage, and I don't know if that's something we could have there. So we kind of thought of that today when we were tossing it around. So that I'll do some more digging, but we're on target, and I'm thinking that it is something that we'll do, because we do have people interested, and I do have some students that could do the decorating. So I will confirm though over this week, and then I'll send out kind of the confirmation and the time. And so if people want to attend or join us, and if there's material that you want us to bring and obviously kind of hand out, we'll do that. Or if anybody
Okay,
has any
sounds-
ideas. Yeah.
And the date again was November 25th. Is that right?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. It's the
Wendy?
Saturday, the last Saturday. Is it the last
Wendy?
Saturday?
Sorry, Tanya, I was just going to say that one time we had an entrance in and with a horse-drawn carriage, and it was enchanting, really. Some of the seniors were in the carriage itself with some younger people and covered up in blankets to keep warm, and then they had younger people walking on each side giving out information and candy canes.
Yeah, so I think that would be great. So I did ask if there's other horses or that sort of thing in the parade, and I was assured that there was, so that's not kind of out of the ordinary. So I will check with that staff member and see if that's something that we would be able to utilize. And then I like that idea. We do have a few residents that I think might be interested in that. So yeah, I think it should be great.
Okay, thank you. Couple questions, Jamie?
Tanya, just so you're aware, the horse needs a bag or
Right,
someone
okay.
behind him to clean it up.
Okay.
That's the only
might be
request
me.
I have.
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad you brought that up, because this was just brought up today, because we were kind of mulling it around, and I thought, well, that would be really nice. And we do have somebody who's already said that that's something that they do have access to. So, but that's good to know. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Sarah.
What are the insurance considerations for having a horse-drawn carriage? And whose insurance is it covered under?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that I'm not sure. I could look into that. How it would be if it was something that was like it's off-site, so it's kind of a part of the parade, but it would depend, I guess, who's participating. If it's a volunteer. Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Okay. And is there a contact person for the parade? Sometimes the insurance is through the parade itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Paul Bodie. Okay.
Okay.
Wendy? Just to clarify what the expectations are and then if there are some parameters that we should be aware of, that would be great.
I was just
Wendy?
going to say it's been quite a few years ago, but at that time there was an event insurance for this one particular float that they secured for it. But it was, I mean, it wasn't a great expense. It was just, and it was well worth it. And they dressed up in period costumes, so it was really quite cute.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that, because we have had a carriage on site, but that's like on our property, right? So obviously it's different than something that's off site at another event and we're going to it. So that's important to look into. So I will definitely give them a call, and I'll talk with you, Michelle, see kind of where we're at with that.
And in terms of expectations from members of the committee, just participating the day of the parade, or is there any other needs ahead of time? Like creating the float, or do you know, or is that something, again, you'll clarify at a later time, although there's not a lot of time between
Yeah,
now
not
and
a
the
lot of time.
25th? Okay, so I'm just curious, is anyone available on the 25th for the parade? By show of hands? Jim is a maybe, depending on the weather, right? Michelle is available? You're available? Anyone else? Sarah? Okay. Yeah, and I think I'm available as well, so I'd be happy to participate in that capacity. Okay, so please keep us posted.
Mhm. Will do.
Next, we talked about readings of these hands and potentially using that to promote the campaign and also sell the books. So selling the books also depends on getting the books printed. Tanya, do you have a quick update on that?
Yeah, so I did get a quote for doing reprints of the book, and it was fairly costly. I do have about 29 books remaining. So, and we do have an event coming up that I was hoping to bring a few books, but I don't necessarily have to. So there is that option where we could, have a book reading, and maybe it could be like, donations could be offered at the book reading. Plus there could be the option of the books, because I do have about, as I said, 29 books. About 20 of those or 24 of those are hardcover and the remainder are soft cover. So there is some potential there. I have had a student as well working on, the book is now in an e-print version. So if we did a book reading, if somebody didn't want to purchase the book, maybe they could, access the book as an e-book. So, at least they have access to it if they come to the book reading and they don't want to actually purchase the book. So anyway, I think the book reading is a great idea. I think that would be a really nice, and I'm not sure if that's something that we would partnership with the library, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for that update. Is that something that the recreation staff will communicate or follow up on with the library? Or Wendy, did you have a comment on that?
I just wondered if it would be something we could do in the seniors month. Wasn't that June? I know it's a wee bit of a distance away, but if we did it collaboratively with the libraries in seniors month, just a thought.
Yeah, and we could look, I mean, there's different people who could do the reading. We could have a reading potentially at the home as well. Like we could do more than one reading. Like even here we've talked about having maybe an athlete, like, somebody come and read. The residents might really like that, and families or whatnot. So, there's different ways we can do that. And at the library is an obvious location. Seniors Month is a great idea just because the book and being the theme with seniors. So yeah.
Okay, so that's another one. Again, if you need anything from the committee, let us know. And otherwise, we'll watch for updates, and we're happy to help promote the event if it moves forward.
Sounds good.
The next item I think you were working on as well were the stickers or seals for the cards for resident families. Any
Yes.
updates?
I don't really have an update other than it's something that we can put on the back of the cards when we send them off to families. So yeah.
Anything needed then? So again, this is to raise awareness to the campaign. Anything needed from the committee at this point?
The only thing, it's something that I could make, and maybe I could bring it to the next meeting, or if people have any ideas of just creating a card that I could put within the card. That's like a smaller advertisement, more of a card size that I could insert. But we send usually a greeting card, or, that size. And if I can insert something in it, that might be nice. Or if we create our own greeting card, and I could use that. But anyway, that's a nice way that they're receiving a card. The staff usually sign the card, and then we send it off to the family. So that's another way that we could, it's a nice way to communicate with the family. And a lot of families do want to donate at that time. So it's a good fit. So if you'd like me to, I could create a little card using one of the, prior advertising kind of that theme, or if it's something that you'd rather have the Elmer Express create, or we already have something like the bookmarks, something like that.
Yeah, I just want to loop back with committee members. I'm trying to remember our last discussion on this. And I think that's how we came up with the idea of the sticker. If the
Mhm.
sticker has the donate to terracelodge.ca, so you're promoting the campaign. And I think there was some hesitation around like,
Okay.
asking for a donation at the same time as you're sending a greeting at a difficult time. So just looking at the committee, so I'm thinking that maybe the stickers was kind of the decision from the committee, if I recall, but I don't always trust my memory. So, Wendy?
I don't recall, I'm sorry, I don't recall, I think I do recall the stickers, but I don't remember anything else, but I'm just thinking, is there anything that you would be giving out at the Christmas parade in Elmer that we could give out in Burwell at the Santa Claus parade and in Vienna at the Light the Night, I think it's called. They have Santa in both places. And there's usually a fairly good turnout. So I wondered if there's any little package like a candy cane with a little sticker on it that says Terrace Lodge or something, maybe the fridge magnet attached to a little bag of Christmas candies for the kids, something soft or something that we could do that would be promoted. I know we're a tiny area, but there are two pretty, and Stratfordville has a Christmas parade too. So if there was something that we could do for Terrace Lodge and pass out, I don't mind walking in and passing out as long as I'm not noticed by anybody, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many, what I don't know is the inventory of our coloring kits. So we might have quite a few, so a few hundreds, and I'm wondering if you would see that as appropriate. We can always slide a candy cane in it with the crayons and the sheets. There wouldn't be enough, right? Yeah. So because I don't think it's the same as the candy where you can have hundreds and hundreds and for all the kids. Any thoughts then? Maybe just the bookmark?
You can just type out a little piece of paper, put a hole punch in it, tie it with a ribbon to a candy cane. But the kids get it, not the parents. So would the parents actually get it and read it? So I'm not sure about that part.
I wonder if there's a way of giving just the pictures without the crayons. If we just did a little package of pictures with a candy or a candy cane in it, because it's usually like we'd hand it to the children, but the parents would probably see that. And it doesn't need to be maybe as many pictures, but just a couple of pictures that explains what they do with the pictures, and then Merry Christmas from Terrace Lodge, and some little thing to put in it like a candy cane or a few candies, just because I know the children here just love receiving anything that's a big surprise. And we did that with Edison Fest, and they were just so tickled pink with getting anything, even fans they could make, they were thrilled with.
You could possibly hand them out at the smaller parades and not do it in the town. How many people do you think are at the Port Burwell, Vienna, Stratfordville?
Jamie, I can't remember. I would have to say after going to Watermelon Fest, there were quite a few hundred people there. Vienna was smaller, probably a hundred and what did we count? 170, I think, when I was supporting the library. It was 170 packages we gave out there. I beg your pardon. And then Port Burwell almost equals Stratfordville. So Vienna is certainly smaller. So we're talking probably about 400 or 500 packages.
And do you have dates on those parades offhand? We can probably look that up. But
I'm going to have to, I'll have to get back to you. I know that there's something coming the 25th of November here. And then there's no, I'm sorry, the 18th of November, I believe is the Burwell and Lights the Light. I'm gonna have to get back to you. I'm so sorry, I'll mess it up.
no, that's our, we're sort of brainstorming, so putting you on the spot. But yeah, I mean, the key, the paper to be colored needs to be in a package, right? It needs to be in plastic, or because it won't last, it won't transport with so if we go with that idea, I mean, we can put fewer, even when we were doing the different fairs, there are 4 sheets in it. So I tended, when it got really busy, I tended to give one per family. So it wasn't one per child, and not everybody took one necessarily. It's definitely not the same as candy. So, even if we didn't have enough for everybody, it could be distributed. So I can get back to everyone on how many we have available. We may have 300 or 400 available that could be assembled with a candy cane extra.
There's also the tree lighting on the Friday night in Elmer. And maybe if you wanted to give them out, that would be a better time because there wouldn't be as many children and the parents are definitely with them and they're not standing there for a long period of time.
Yeah, I think a tree lighting setting seems more conducive to handing out a few packages. That's a great idea. So maybe we'll follow up again via email with the dates of the various tree lightings in the area. I can assemble a few packages and then we'll decide who's available to go to which tree lighting. Amaryllis?
I know here in Dutton, we used to do a lighting of the tree, and people could buy an ornament in the name of their loved one and hang it on and we hung them on the tree. Like it was always donations from people in the community. And they raised a significant amount of money for cancer over a number of years doing that type of fundraising, but it's such short notice. I don't think we can do it this year.
Just gonna ask Tanya about the ornaments, which I think is also on the list to discuss maybe, but you were talking about getting ornaments done as well.
Yes, so I have a person he's made a couple prototypes, so he's just back making one, just adding a few little things, and so he'll have those ready for tomorrow as a fundraiser. So he'll just make them at cost, and then we can sell them for $10. We thought that, and again, that's something we could discuss, but at least we could have them available, and they have comforts of home, and then they have there's something you could hang on the tree. So he's making a few for us just to kind of have available. And yeah, I think I sent through an example, but he's updating it slightly.
And
they're made of.
Did that get circulated, the little prototype of the ornaments? So we'll make sure we'll circulate that email. Sorry, Tanya, I don't think I
But
forwarded it.
actually, when I receive the new one, I'll actually send that one because that will be the most
Okay.
updated and it will have Terrace Lodge. So I'll make sure, and I put it with a ruler so you can kind of gauge the size of it. And I'll make sure that I'll send that through as soon as he's got it ready. He should have it ready today or tomorrow.
And those were wooden
Yeah, they're wood.
ornaments, right? And they're plain, and so they could
Yeah.
be colored or painted,
Yeah, they could be.
right?
Mm.
So do we know, or could we find out how many could be made for various tree lighting? Because I'm thinking if we
Yeah.
added them to the package, to a
Mhm.
coloring package, and we sold the packages. So
Mhm.
there's a little bit something for the whole family. There's an ornament, there's some crayons, there's some, coloring sheets, which they're
Mhm.
already printed. But it's easier, it's easier to carry and sell. So assuming we could have a few made in time,
He told me that he can make them like as few or as many, and he can make them fairly quickly. So he just creates a template. So you know, he can make them as we need them, basically.
Okay.
Mhm.
What are the committee's thoughts on that? So instead of distributing the tree lighting would be, the idea would be to sell the package. Wendy?
The only hesitation I have is that it's such a tight time of the year. And in terms of, for families to purchase an ornament might be a last priority. And if the emphasis is for us to sell ornaments, then by all means, I'd support it. But if the priority is to share information so that people become familiar with who we are and what we're doing, or we remind them that time of the year and give them the information to contact us at any point, then I'd be more inclined to go towards just giving them a few pictures. But again, that's just my own opinion.
Yes, what would be the cost of these ornaments?
Yeah, so I have to confirm with him. I think it kind of depends how many we order, but he makes them at a low cost. But I'll double check that and I'll make sure that I send that, you know, with the actual ornament and with the price of what the cost would be. Yeah. And then what we could set, and then you can decide what you might want to sell them for.
And Amaryllis, I don't know if you're still available to add to the discussion.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, okay, just making sure. Do you recall how much did you say how much were the ornaments that you were selling and that seemed to get a good response?
I honestly, I cannot remember. It was Elaine Brown, a community member that organized that every year. But I know that they made significant, and I mean, people were buying the ornaments only to make the donation.
Right.
That was really, but she did cold calling and she did reach outs to people who she knew that would support the campaign as well. So it was a little different. But yeah, she did it for a number of years. She's since passed. So it's not something that carried on.
Right.
So
Sarah?
So Amaryllis, was there a table that was set up at the tree lighting, or was it pre-purchase, or what is what did it look like?
It was a pre-purchase, and she put the names right on the ornaments, and people could come and hang them, but if they weren't available, then she hung them on the trees when they lit them. Or she had children hang them on the trees, but it was just all by donation. And then they just had, Elaine was there and she always had a volunteer there that would also accept donations at the event. It really worked well for them, but I mean, a different time, it might not be something that people would do today. I don't know. Maybe if you just had events at the home where you lit the trees and people could purchase for donation. I don't know. Just suggestions.
Okay, so then in the interest of time, what I would suggest is, so if we make the coloring packages without ornaments, so we know we've made those before, we've donated those before, so we'll remain consistent. And if we go to tree lighting, then there's no handling of. I think in parallel to that, Tanya, if you can get back to us further on, what would be the cost, and then similar to the chocolates, we can decide how much we could sell them for. If we can make it work, I think it's worth a try. Add the tree lighting, for example, if we want to, as you're giving out coloring packages, you can say we also have ornaments for sale as a fundraiser, or contact us later, because there's contact information on the coloring package. So if you'd like to purchase an ornament and maybe you don't have cash with you right now, contact us. So kind of do a hybrid, because I think it might pick up some momentum. And I agree, we need to continue to raise awareness, but we also need to raise money. So if the giving out of the package And that's easy to slip, if you want to purchase an ornament, contact, we can add that in the package. But, so for now, so Wendy, yes?
Sorry, I was just going to say that in Cambridge Memorial, I beg your pardon, at the hospital, they used to raise a lot of money with the tree lighting ceremony in that I'm sorry, people would purchase a line of lights, a set of lights for a specific amount of money. And that would be in memory of their loved one. And then they had the tree lighting service. So I'm not sure if that's what you do, Tanya, but maybe the same could be true of the ornaments, where people purchase the ornaments in memory of their loved one, and maybe they could be read out at the tree lighting ceremony, and perhaps we can transfer that to the small little ones that we have around here, in terms of giving people the opportunity to purchase the ornaments and putting them on the tree on their behalf. And then when Light the Night comes, we could maybe read off in memory of them, or the Port Burwell parade, or whatever parades we're supporting. Just a thought.
We could have the ornaments available in the home and have them put up. Like we could do like this particular event, the tree's outside, so I'm not sure about, and it's a really tall tree that we've lit up, but that's something definitely to think about. And we just kind of lit the tree, and then people are coming to a tree lighting. But as far as having a tree inside where people could make a donation, and then, you put a tree on like an ornament on the tree internally. We have a nice big tree at the front of the home inside. That's something we could easily do that I think would be really nice. I think that would be a really nice, I'm trying to think of how they could, I guess you're just putting a tree on for your loved one and all the ornaments. And then it's just, when you have it full of ornaments, it shows that lots of people have donated, and there's something there in memory of your family member or a family member, or just in honor of the home. Is that kind of what you're saying in that regard? Yeah. I think that, like, we do have a big tree at the front, so that's something that it would look really nice, I think.
They did theirs outside, and they had those cherry pickers that would go up and hang them.
Okay, yeah.
So we literally watch them as you go past. You'd watch them growing in numbers.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But
well, we could put that in of having the ornaments available. It's nice that, like, some people might want to take it home, but some people might want to just put it on the tree, right?
Exactly. So I think to have multiple options. Sarah?
I was just looking for clarification for the tree ornament, whether this was something we were encouraging people to purchase to hang on their own tree, or to leave and just have it as a donation with symbolic on the tree at the home, or a tree lighting ceremony. I would think that most people for the tree ornament would want to take it home and have it as a memento on their own tree. But
yeah, if somebody wants to send it to Terrace Lodge and to hang there, I think it could be done in the same way as the drawings through the library. If you drop it off, then the library can drop it off at Terrace Lodge. But yeah, I agree. I think the main push would be for potential, you sell it to take it home, and people can decorate it and add names if they wish to. Okay, so I will follow up with you, Tanya, on this to see what the cost might be. And then for members of the committee, we'll find out what the various dates are of the tree lightings that are coming up. And we'll see if we have committee members available. And if so, make sure that you have at least a few coloring kits to distribute and promote. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Great brainstorming. Murder mystery event was the next item we needed to decide on one way or another. I think between Wendy and Sarah, we were able to find out more information about previous events. And either one of you wanted to report on that? What did you learn, and what is your recommendation to the committee?
From my own perspective, at costing things out, if we're going to look at a major fundraiser in terms of what Jamie had suggested, I think that the energy would be better spent in that. The fun, I think that the murder mystery, I took it apart as well as I could. And it's a lot of fun. I know that I know I'd forget it, but it's a restaurant locally in Tilsonburg has been doing them. And I think they're relatively successful, but they're small scale. So if we're looking at a larger scale, you're still going to have to charge $40 to $50 for a ticket. And if we were going to entertain that, we'd be better to look at that in the spring, I think. Just my opinion. Sarah, you share what you know.
So a recent murder mystery that was held, discussing with their organizers. They had 78 tickets out of 80 sold, and the majority of their items were donated. They paid for the kitchen staff, the food, and the bartender, but majority of the other items were donated in time or space, and they made $1,000. So I think that it's not a great trade-off between our energy and the dollar total.
Okay, thank you for doing the research and putting some thought into it. I think it is a great idea, but and for other circumstances, but I think perhaps right now for this committee, for the purpose and like the alignment with this campaign is probably not as perfect as we want it to be to pursue at this point. Okay, so that's a decision on that. 8.2.7 was the updated list of items and brochures. So I've already spoken to that. So I'll skip to the silent auction at Terrace Lodge. So I did meet this afternoon with the resident council. So they're interested in running in a silent auction, which they've done before. The difference this time would be that they're interested in partnering with us and to give the proceeds to the Comforts of Home campaign more specifically, rather than the other ways that the resident council use their funds. So their ask of the committee members is our willingness to collect a few items. They're hoping to actually start next week or maybe mid next week. And I believe in the past, most items were sold or it had a starting point of about $25 items. So we're not looking for, big ticket items. They were going to pull up some notes on previous auctions to find out what ended up being most popular, but definitely things that actually tie in well with the Comforts of Home, like blankets, like goodies, like a gift package of cookies. And we were talking about maple syrups and cushions or home decor, especially just before Christmas. So they showed us a few items that have been donated already. And so the option is there for us to support them. So promote the campaign, which right now is planned on being on site. So people can go into Terrace Lodge for now and go and bid on the items. And so we can let people know, so we can help with the promotion. But also if I want to ask the committee if you did want to partner with the council, and if we're willing to see if we can, in the next few days, it's a quick turnaround, although they have a bit of time and not all items. We talked about perhaps if we don't have all the items ready, doing a preview, a bit of a tease where the bids are not opened yet as we gather more items. But it still would be within, they're hoping to complete it before December so that it would kind of launch then into Christmas. Thoughts from committee members? Jim?
Yeah, I'd like to have more time to consider this, but as I let Jenna know that we have an event in London we're going to, so I have to leave now. It's Ted Barris is speaking about the Second World War at the London Library. So enjoyed seeing everybody and looking forward to the next meeting. And if you need anything, me to do anything, just let me know. Thank you.
Okay, and that's a vote in support of the partnering for the auction.
I'll try.
Okay. Thank you. Enjoy the presentation tonight. Wendy, did
I'm
you have your hand up, or Amaryllis?
I'm certain that I can I can come up with a couple of items for the auction. And if it's okay, I might use my source out here to get it to the municipal office, if that would be all right, the county building. If that would be okay.
Yes, I'm getting a nod that yes. That's a
All right.
very efficient way of getting things to us. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone else sort of interested in finding one or two items we could help with?
I can find the items, but I need somebody to help them find their way to the home.
Okay, so we can help with logistics. I think we can figure it out. I'm assuming it's transportable. It would,
Yeah.
it's okay. It fits in a car. Okay, so we'll figure out. So that's great. Thanks, Jamie. Wendy?
I'm happy to help too, and I can pick up Jamie's and take it down when I bring mine over.
Great. And I have a couple items as well. Okay, great. So I'll follow up with, I think Shannon is a staff who was coordinating the meeting today and will be coordinating the auction. So, and I'll ask them if there's any other support that they need. We'll be happy to help. So I think they'll be fun. The other item for consideration this evening as far as a fundraising strategy is a poinsettia sale. So that has been done by other organizations, and perhaps you've participated in one way or another. Michelle was able to get some information on that, which I circulated earlier today. Not sure that everyone had a chance to review it, but I don't know, Michelle, if you wanted to add a few comments before we consider it.
Sure, I can do that. Thanks. So yes, poinsettia sales have been done in the past and have been quite rewarding. I've heard from others that have done that. So there's two choices that were circulated. One is you could go strictly with gift cards. And then the second choice is the plants. So what they're offering is 4 different poinsettia colors or a planter. And so there's some price ranges that make it more economical, or if somebody wants something a little bit more decorative for their home for the holiday season, there's that option as well. So there's a percentage of either from the plants or from the gift cards. And if you choose to go with plants, then you can also still purchase or have available gift cards. We are sort of, again, time crunch is sort of the same theme here. So if this is something that this group is interested in, then we do need to get the form sent in, and then we can begin selling at that time. And the timelines for pickup would be between November 20th and December 8th. To pick up the plants to make sure that they get delivered in time for the holidays, and so that we could get good choices. So they did mention as well that they have also a fundraiser package based around Mother's Day that we may want to consider as well, with hanging baskets and patio pots, and could do gift cards at that time as well. So that's the information that I have.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really useful. Committee members, thoughts? Wendy?
It's just a question, Michelle, but I wondered if they have, if there's any way that the planter might maybe be something without poinsettias for latex sensitive people. So is there a chance that in their oval planters, they could put something like a little cyclamen or something different than the poinsettia if someone's allergic?
It's a good question. I could certainly ask that if we were interested, for sure. And maybe that's where a gift card option might be better for that individual, so that they could select what's more
Yeah.
suitable for their environment.
Sarah?
So my Optimist Club has done this particular fundraiser before. and we've had to go and collect the orders and then distribute them from a central location. What type of distribution system would we need to be looking at?
Yeah, I didn't get that detailed, of that deep depth of detail, sorry. So they said they could deliver for a fee or that we could pick up. So it doesn't say whether we would pick up sort of bulk one order, or which is probably what they would anticipate that we do, or whether you could maybe go as a group and get your individual orders from there. But we do, when the order is either picked up or delivered, we're responsible to making sure the count is correct and notify them if there's any errors or concerns with the order. So I'm not sure what your experience, Sarah, has been with, whether somebody takes them all to one location and they're distributed. So maybe we could, look at a place that was more central for that. No. We could offer that to be Terrace Lodge, but then if we went into outbreak, that might be an issue. So maybe the county building or something, but again, gift cards might be easier from that perspective, right? But certainly open to any conversation, and if timelines are too tight, we can certainly consider something in the spring, but I have heard that others have been quite successful with this type of fundraiser.
Sarah?
So we have done a mass pickup and taken to a one location, and then our members have either picked up and delivered to their sales, or they've gone to that central location. Our success with the poinsettia sales was good, but there was some dissatisfaction with the plants because some of them were fabulous, but others were not as attractive as you would have anticipated. So I don't know if that was just a one-off the year that we did it, but we have shied away as an Optimist Club from doing it again for that particular reason. The spring planters are phenomenal, though.
Is that something we can partner with the Optimist Club in the spring, maybe? Jamie?
I was just gonna say, I have no time in that time frame to deliver poinsettias. So if that would be out for me, I could maybe sell gift cards, but the poinsettia and delivering them is definitely out for me.
Wendy?
I think it's a great initiative. I would love to do it in the spring.
Yeah, I'm looking at our, we're fairly ambitious already. I think if we want to get maybe some ornaments and the coloring packages, but I love the idea. So I'm glad the seed was planted, no pun intended. And, but now that we know that's available, I think starting early, like, so right after Christmas, we could, I'm only half joking about a potential partnership with other organizations who have experience, and where if it's, mutually beneficial, we can help out, boost sales, and then share proceeds, similar to a beef dinner or that kind of approach, which seems to have worked well. So, okay, so we'll put that on a more of a January follow-up item, and a great idea. Okay, thank you for that. Were there any other strategies that anybody wanted to discuss for now? No, I don't think so. I don't think we have any correspondence. Is that correct? So we'll move into closed meeting items. And that we'll need a resolution for, please.
Be it resolved that we do now proceed into closed meeting session in accordance with the Municipal Act to discuss the following matters under Municipal Act, Section 239(2). For closed meeting item number 1, donor outreach update, Municipal Act, Section 239(2)B.
Thank you. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Jamie, Amaryllis, all in favor? That's carried. Okay, so just stand by for a moment while we. Great, we are now out of closed sessions. May I have a resolution?
Be it resolved that we do now rise and report, and that the confidential donor outreach update be received for information.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Sarah moves. Jamie seconds. All in favor? That's carried. Date of next meeting. Again, similar to last time, I think we have a few decisions we want to make earlier rather than later. So I'm proposing, we also want to get ready for Christmas. So I'm proposing the end of November to finalize a few details on the strategies that we discussed today. So that would be a Monday, that would be November 27th. And if that's okay with everybody, we may change the time though to accommodate availability. So it will be a shorter meeting, but maybe starting at 6 p.m. Is that agreeable for everyone? Okay, so 6 p.m., November 27th will be our next meeting. And if there's nothing else, then we'll be ready for adjournment. So thank you again for all the brainstorming and getting ready to ramp up for another little push, ready for Christmas. So may I have a mover and seconder to adjourn today's meeting? Sarah moves. Jamie seconds, so we don't stay here all night. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you again so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.